What is up, guys? Triple H Guy 2004, just back here with a quick review of the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast from this past week with special guest Dean Ambrose. I could see, I read like small reviews, nothing like spoilers reviews of this, and some people were saying that Stone Cold was getting frustrated with Dean, and I could see that, but I think Ambrose was going out there, especially at the point where Steve was asking about, just lost my train of thought. Yeah, anywho, but I think he was getting frustrated with him. But, when he was asking him about the Brock Lesnar match, Dean was truthful and honest, and, I just think the way Ambrose was, I think in the position that he's in, I think he needed to watch what he said on the podcast, and I think he knew that, and he didn't. Steve wants to push the envelope, and I get that, but sometimes you can't do that when you're the WWE champion. You don't want to go out and say something that might look bad upon the company, and the company says, oh, well, you're looking bad upon us here. You're trashing us over here. So Ambrose really had to be careful. I really did like the interview. I liked the Stone Cold, the promo that Dean cut on Stone Cold, talking about how he was going to wrap his leg around the ring post and stuff like that. When Dean was talking about the Vince McMahon person that he knows backstage, and how says he's, a different cat, and Vince is a different cat. But, yeah, other than that, I think the earlier stuff, the early childhood stuff, Dean didn't want to talk about that. And I respect him for that. I don't need to hear about that. I think that's where people's misconception of this interview came from. A lot of the criticism where Dean was ducking questions. We don't need to know that. I mean, I know that happens on a lot of Steve's podcasts and a lot of other podcasts. People come and talk about their personal life. And I'm actually going to stick up for Dean and say that I'm glad he didn't sit there and talk about that, and he kind of avoided those questions. Like I said earlier, you got to really, there was at one point where I think Steve wanted him to get to say that he used drugs as a younger kid. That's just the way the tone of the conversation went for me. If he admitted that, people can use that against Dean now as WWE champion. Like I said, you gotta watch what you say, and I respect Dean for not, talking about that. And at one point he said that he got to pay off his mom's house, and got her to quit her job that she worked at for so many years, and that was his biggest accomplishment in life. How can you not like this guy? I mean, this guy goes out there and fights for you, puts on great matches every week, and I can't wait to see him and Ziggler for the WWE title at SummerSlam. That's going to be a good match. Yeah. So, just my quick thoughts on the Steve Austin podcast, Triple H Guy 2004. Peace.